STAKK Nation,
Champion.
welcome back to the channel. Okay,
One and only channel.
the channel where we connect everything back to Bitcoin. Okay,
And educate you.
listen, I can tell you how they make chicken sandwich is connected to Bitcoin.
For sure.
I will explain that to you once we get to 1,000 subscribers. Okay.
Like and subscribe now while you can.
You about to hear something you never heard before in your life. Okay. Now, here's the thing. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a certain situation called BRICS. Okay. As we know, BRICS nation seems to have sprouted from the weaponization of the dollar.
The SWIFT system.
This contains some countries that seem to be nuclear powers coming together to ban against the dollar's dominance thus far. So in this video, what are you going to say?
Dominance that got abused. Because at some point they were fine with it.
At some point they were fine with it. This is something that is worth noting. But you know, back then they did not have nuclear option. So now they have bolstered their chests, and now they're like, let's test out what we've been putting together for the past how many years. So in this video, we're going to be maybe sharing our thesis on how we think things can play out for BRICS if they were to adopt Bitcoin. Because I think it's a relevant conversation, given that Bitcoin is clearly a major player in the global economy now. You cannot ignore it. People will still call it a scam. Well, whatever. I don't think that that's a conversation that is really reasonable to have, because you really have to be asinine, shut down your brain, deny facts, do not even look at what is right before your eyes to keep pushing an idea like
Be a
Bitcoin
maxi
is
whatever.
scam. You know what I mean? Ethereum must have captured you by your soul for you to be pushing that. And
By your balls.
it's just going to be disingenuous. Exactly. Now, we have seen China itself ban Bitcoin mining. It's not because this thing is nothing, right?
Maybe because China owns Ethereum.
They do own Ethereum, and they probably own some Bitcoin just to back up the situation as well, right? So let's jump right into this thing here. BRICS nation, double O. Who is in this BRICS nation situation here?
Let me see if I can ever remember. Brazil, Russia,
Yes.
India,
Yeah.
South Africa.
Okay.
SSC is China. Come on, who forgets China?
You could have also looked at the screen. I put it up on the screen.
Oh, I was trying to use my brain.
But it is good that you remember it, sir. You know what I'm saying? This is how we know our stuff. We're not just reading
It's about
stuff.
to be BRICS Plus.
It is going to be BRICS Plus because more people are interested. Other nations are joining as they see that this thing is continuously growing and they may have some legs, because at the end of the day, it's a system that they're familiar with, minus the one person that oppressed all of them.
Egypt just got approved to join, by the way.
Oh, really?
That was last week.
There's a few African nations. I think Uganda is going to be joining.
Yep.
There's a few African nations that are definitely stretching their legs on this thing.
I like this map, by the way. I would like to tell people about it.
Talk about it, sir.
This map and the population, the size of an economy is the people in that economy.
This is true.
The ability to be able to produce,
This is true.
right? That is where that GDP is coming from.
Absolutely.
Look at the East, all mostly BRICS.
Very true.
And now you slowly have this incoming of Africa and the southern countries coming in.
There it is.
Look at the size of the populations compared to just...
We said we were going to go back and look for this one video where we were going to break down this global trade. I think this is actually a perfect moment to break this down real quick again once for everyone. When you think about global trade, a lot of the manufacturing is happening over in Asia, specifically China. Right? And if you look at this area here, this contains the blue to the top right. You have Russia, China, India, major powers, which we see here in the BRICS nation.
Show them Ukraine, please.
Okay.
And tell them what's stopping them.
Where's Ukraine at even? Is this
Right
here?
there.
Is it this
Uh-huh.
over there?
Yeah. The only thing stopping them. You get it?
The only thing stopping them is the people across the ocean on the other side here.
Making an impact way over there.
Way over there. Right.
Right?
And everyone else that is around there.
Middle East.
Right.
Right down there.
Right. Our parties are being stopped by. So it does not, from a global trade standpoint, it seems like it is much more efficient and convenient for you to transact and engage in
Your neighbors.
agreements with your neighbors.
Yeah.
versus engaging with nations that are very, listen, man, I'm not opposing the West or anything like that. I'm just pointing out that looking at this map, there is an easier way to go about things. Period.
Why can't you trade in your own currency?
Yeah.
Why can't you trade in an international currency? This is my thesis.
Yeah.
Bitcoin is not it doesn't attack,
Yeah.
right? I don't need to force you to use a currency. It's a global standard that we all agree to.
Absolutely.
That does not have any personal objective.
Absolutely.
Right? It's decentralized. It will work.
Yeah.
But no, that's not what the West wants.
Yeah.
The West wants you to just say, you know what? You have to be dependent and reliant on just us.
On them, even though they do not deliver
You're
or supply.
you're not creating their value for them.
How can you cannot fully depend on a state where their main GDP is weapons, because unless you need that much weapons, okay, what, you supply them natural resources and they supply you war? Is that how the deal works?
They protect you from your neighbor.
From what?
From far away.
But then your neighbors are showing up with weapons from the same people who are supposed to be protecting you.
That is why I say there's so much evil in the world, but there's opportunity for good. But for some reason, people have chosen the non-good.
All right. Well, we hope you see that map, and we hope that map makes some sort of sense to you.
Yeah, mental sense.
Now, if BRICS nation was to adopt Bitcoin, I think that would make them extremely powerful, because now you're not dealing with any centralized entity, especially at this point in time where they're trying to really figure out what it is that they're going to be using as a major form of exchange, right? You could adopt Bitcoin and you could trade across borders all the way without any interruptions.
Yep.
Now, I think that they stand in their own way by trying to still use fiat or the digital yuan, which China has introduced and is clearly shoving down the throats of everyone along the line of that Belt and Road initiative.
How is that partnership going to work if you're forcing me to go back to basically what the SWIFT is doing with the USD?
I think they need to be able to be smarter about that. Otherwise, we'll just find ourselves in a place where China is the one weaponizing its currency against other people.
There has been news about them trying to develop a common blockchain.
I think it already exists. They can save time and adopt Bitcoin.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
At the same time, I think that they might be hesitant to adopt this Bitcoin because we know that the US has confiscated billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin. Let's go all the way back to the Silk Road situation and any other incident. Yes, right?
States.
All of it. They've been taking all these Bitcoins and hoarding it. As a matter of fact, in the FTX situation with the recent unfoldings, I think all of that value there, all of that capital there can be converged into Bitcoin. We see Celsius doing the same thing. They're converting this stuff into Bitcoin, but what that article does not end with is that we're converting it to Bitcoin to give it back to the people.
Yeah, but still
it's just converting it to Bitcoin.
Yep.
The government can grab it. So then maybe they might be a little bit apprehensive because they believe that getting into Bitcoin will just make their opponent wealthier, and they may not want to do that.
I mean, that already happened with the gold standard. US has majority of the gold. So no matter what you do, US still has the edge. But the reality is that you now have a currency that the US cannot abuse unless you get BlackRock involved.
Which they're trying to buy a lot more of that. Well, I'm pretty sure they've heard of OTC, over the counter. Maybe that is something that can work as well. But that's our thought on this.
I do actually have another tiny thought.
Go ahead, dude.
You know, could it also be that the economic structure of these nations, because they're so authoritative,
that is the other part about it.
They might not want to select a currency that they don't have control over, just like America is slowly becoming that as well.
I think it is even scarier for them to let go of power than it is for America, because at least America is used to being in this chaotic state, right? Where and at least with this idea of some sort of freedom, where I think America is having more of a difficult time reeling themselves back into this authoritarian state versus these guys who are in this authoritarian state worried about what happens if they let go of that power. They believe that it might not be in their favor and they might lose control. So it's a very interesting situation. And wow, no one knows the answer. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out.
I think this is the one time the one opportunity that the world has for peace.
Yeah.
Fiat is all war based.
Yeah.
If you want a peaceful world, you should be a pro Bitcoiner.
Yeah.
Because you just can't print money and go to war.
At least peaceful to an extent there.
The only reason you're able to have Ukraine fight Russia is the money you're printing out of tin here.
Yeah.
And equipment that you're giving them to fight Russia. That's money sure cannot win against such a big enterprise. So fiat is all war based. Bitcoin is peace.
Hey. Jason Lowry has some very good writings on this. Someone that will recommend you check out for sure.
Yep.
Right. If you'd like to learn more about Bitcoin education is free. Feel free to always hit us up. Contact us if you would like to learn about technical analysis and things like that. We have some courses for that. We'll be putting that up on our website as well soon. Right. Any final thoughts, sir?
Just stay being champions.
Hey. Let us know as well. What do you think of this? Do you think BRICS will actually get to a point where they accept Bitcoin for trade in one form or another? Or will the US actually engage in that Bitcoin trade first? That is going to happen at some point, for sure.
I just have a light bulb.
Give us part of it, but not all the way.
Yes. You create a stable coin that is pegged to Bitcoin and some other commodities, like gold, etc.
Okay. Well, we'll dig deeper into that idea. Let's see where you're coming. A stable coin for the Bitcoin only. So like having a stable coin in a wallet, in a self-custody wallet.
That all the nations can use.
Sharper.
And you can mix it with whatever other commodities you want.
You know
just stabilize it.
This is where layer 2 is coming.
Yes, sir.
Because you could store it straight up on the blockchain. Or if you're now using Lightning or in a self-custody wallet, you can now come up to layer 2, which is stable. Lord, we have to dig into these things. Ladies and gentlemen, dig into this information with us by subscribing to the channel. Comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, check us out on Twitter, STAKK. And of course, we're also on Spotify, STAKK. Until next time, brazen out.